For the next about 18 months, you guys are going to be hanging around with new friends, as I love to call them, about 5 or 6 new courses that you guys are going to be dealing with throughout the whole preclinicals. That's 200 and 300 level. And I'm going to be talking about each and every one of them in this video. I'm going to be introducing you to them and just telling you what you should expect from each and every one of them. In another video, I'm going to talk about how to study for them. Now, if you care to know how, I'll be creating another video about that. So, in no particular order, I'm going to start from the first one on my list, and that's physiology. So, physiology is the study of how the body functions, the functions of the body, and all the systems, how they get to work together to bring about homeostasis, to bring about the normal body functions. So that's physiology. So physiology is more of just logic, more of explanations, stories here and there, things like that. Next is biochemistry. So biochemistry is one of those courses in preclinicals that a lot of people don't really like, and it's not because biochemistry is actually hard. There are actually some factors that contribute to that. I won't talk about them here, but I'll tell you about it later. But to be frank, biochem is not actually really a problem. It's not really a problem. It's actually very easy to understand biochem. It's easy to pass biochem, and we'll be talking about how to study biochem in another video. So biochem is all about the chemistry. You're looking at the body from a chemistry perspective, from a molecular perspective. So we are looking at chemicals, we are looking at pathways. We are not talking about functions here. We are just talking about how the interactions between the molecules in the body, how they affect our normal day-to-day life. Another interesting stuff as well. You get to talk about proteins, carbohydrate, lipids. They go into more advanced stuff like metabolism and other parts as well. So next on my list is community medicine. So community medicine is the rather chill guy out of all of these courses. Community medicine is not gonna stress you. Community medicine is just talking about it's looking at it's more like public health. If you will talk about health on a macro scale, or you see things like statistics, you see things like sociology, you see things like history as well. You see history in community medicine, and community medicine is actually it's the easiest course out of all of them, because the exams you're going to be writing are going to be MCQ exams. If you understand it, you're good, trust me. Okay, so the next one, this one is actually this is actually a three complex course. Not I mean complex, I mean three courses in one. So they are referred to as anatomy in general. Anatomy. So anatomy has three branches. There's histology, there's gross anatomy, and there's embryology. So let's start with embryology. So what is embryology? I like to think about it as the documentary of how the body was formed, before it became the body. It talks about how a human being is formed after a series of processes and steps, that lead from cell a two cell zygote to a full baby. That's just embryology in a very, very summarized way. That's what embryology is all about. It's one of the three courses under anatomy. So the next course on anatomy is histology. Talked about embryology, now I'm talking about histology. Histology is the study of tissues, tissue samples, and this is a place where you're going to be seeing a lot of pink and purple pictures everywhere. And no, at first, all these pictures look very, very identical because at first you are not used to it, so it's going to take you some time before you get used to differentiating which tissue sample is which. So this is just looking at the structure to function of the body from a microscopic level. You guys use microscopes to study tissues. Is not something you can see like gross anatomy. I'll speak about that in a bit. So it's all about tissues. You view tissues under the microscope, tissues from different systems of the body. You get to view them under the microscope. You get to see their components. You get to learn and understand how their structure enables them to function. And my own lecturer did this explanation that I never forgot. The structure to function thing talks about it that if you understand how the structure helps, the structure helps the tissue to function, then you can't forget it. You can never forget it again. If you understand it, you don't need any other thing else. So once you understand how a tissue structure relates to its functions, then you've mastered the storage. You don't have any problem here. Now the next one, the last the last course under anatomy is um gross anatomy. Gross anatomy is just the study of the structures of the body. The structure of the body from a macro perspective, talking about things you can see with your eyes. So this time around, it's not histology that you have to use microscope. This is the study of the structure of what you can see. So in histology, you get to talk about tissues. Okay, this tissue has this, it has this type of cells, it has this epithelium, this, it has these features, it has that. But in anatomy, gross anatomy, you get to talk about things you can see. If you can see it, then it can be described anatomically. So everything is divided into blocks. Same with all other courses. All the courses have their own different blocks. No, so for anatomy now, gross anatomy, you have, you start with upper limb, then lower limb, then abdomen, no thorax, then abdomen, P and P, and so on. Same for all other courses. They have their own blocks as well. After each block, you're going to write your in course. They also have practicals. There are practicals for each of the courses. They are actually standalone courses, but it's just the application of what you've learned in theory class. So there's histology practical, there's anatomy, gross anatomy practical, and there's biochem practical. There's no embryology practical, no comed practical. They're meant to help you to solidify everything you've learned from a theory class. In anatomy practical, gross anatomy practical, you get to do dissections. Everything that you've been taught in class, you get to see it in real life. Do dissections, you view structures in real life, you use your atlas, to compare and contrast. In histology practical, you get to view tissues under the microscope, you take pictures, you get to learn about the different types of cells, different compositions of different types of tissues, structure to function, like I talked about earlier. And biochem practical, it's just like chemistry practical from secondary school. You're mixing reagents, testing for this, testing for that. You start with pH and buffers. Your first experiment is going to be on pH, experimenting, different the pH of different samples and all things like that. So that is just all you need to know about the courses that you're going to be starting with. So moving on, I'm going to still make another video about I study all the different how to study all the different courses and how you can also try to make your own system. You don't necessarily have to do what I do. Everybody needs to have their own form of creativity. They need to add their own creativity to the way you study. I hope you got a lot of value from this, and I'll be seeing you on the next one. Thank you.